Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here. Welcome to part 2 of the new Q&A series video. The first question is, what film scared the shit out of you the most? Lately I haven't watched anything that I found to be really creepy. I remember Session 9 was one that I always thought was really creepy. Especially the stuff in the embalming room when he was putting his hand behind the wall. That part always creeped me out. I don't know what I've seen lately. I know as a kid, though, I used to see, probably when I was about the 6th grade and stuff, I used to watch stuff in the middle of the night on, like, HBO and stuff, and certain movies always creeped me out, like when I first saw Clockwork Orange. For some reason, something about that really creeped me out, and I remember I couldn't sleep that night. I used to do that as a kid, watch certain things my parents didn't know I was watching, and they would be creeped out and couldn't sleep from them, but I don't have that anymore. I've always been annoyed that someone my big size was always regulated to being the comedic relief or smart brainy type with that in mind. Do you find it hard being an overweight actor, and do you think an actor of size could be the main character in a hit mainstream film? When you look at somebody like Kevin Smith and stuff with what he does, he wasn't really the main character, but certain people like John Candy did it. So I think it's totally possible. I think of myself more, though, as a character actor. I don't go after things to be the lead or anything. I mean, it's if I do something that's a lead, I've done one or two things that were like considered lead parts, and I thought that I like doing that, but I don't go after trying to do that. I like sometimes a part where you're there for 2 days and done. I think that I just like to be on set and work on things, so I don't really have any, at least not at this point. I don't have any real problems with that. And if I want to be like the silly guy, the thing is, the silly guy parts usually stand out in the movies, so it can be a good thing rather than like a super serious. And the other good thing about being, if you're fat in this business, there's not a whole lot of there's not as much competition as there is if you're the good-looking guy. There's so many of the good-looking character parts. You're not. It's much more difficult for them than somebody fat. Somebody fat can do a little bit better. That's what I've noticed. Who is your favorite actress and actor? Also, do you have a favorite drama? I guess for actors, I've always liked Christina Ricci a lot. People like Angelica Houston. There's people that I've always watched and just always really liked everything they've done. I think of who else that I've really always liked. Because Angelica Houston, I loved her in The Witches and Addams Family. Like, those were always been favorites of mine. And Christina Ricci was in so many different things, like Afterlife. I just saw her in. She was really good in that. Buffalo 66. Favorite actors, though, I like a lot of like the comedic people. A lot of them are dead, though, like John Candy, Chris Farley. You know, Adam Sandler's not one of my favorites, but I liked like Billy Madison. I'm trying to think of who else I would say is like favorite people to go after. Sometimes, though, I like to find movies from different people. I love to watch movies that you don't know who they are. So sometimes I like that, too. Favorite drama, though? I would say Felicia's Journey is one of the ones that I really, really like. Like, if you haven't seen that, that's definitely a must-see movie. CFUS says, Hi, Don and Murph. I'm not sure what that is, but I think I might have looked that up because I looked through some of these before, and I think it was like a college or something. Did you finally eat Murph? What did the resulting shit look like? What did you spend all your money on after the Andy Milonakis show was canceled? Yes, some people do refer to me as an Andy Milonakis. I kind of have that Andy Milonakis thing where I always have a youngish look. Like Andy Milonakis is in his 30s, but looks younger, and I'm 25 and have a youngish look. But, you know, I'm not going to stay young as forever. I think Andy Milonakis is, though. But I didn't eat Murph. Murph's in Maryland, and he's fine. But I mean, Don might have, though. I don't know. What did you think of the directed-to-video sequels to Return of the Living Dead for the Sci-Fi Channel? I think Part 3 was direct-to-video, too. I don't know if that came to theaters or not. I think after Part 3, I didn't like him anymore. I did like Part 2. A lot of people like went on that it wasn't great, but, you know, they got the two main actors back, Tom Matthews and the other actor, and I don't know, I like the second one. It's not an amazing movie, but it's fun. Hopefully at some point they put out a DVD with the right music, because they had to change the soundtrack on the movie because of some kind of rights issues, which is weird that happened, because that's not yet to happen with any other movies that I've noticed. It's only really happened with mostly TV shows, so I don't really know what happened. I do think it was that Lamar company, or Lomar, however you say that, which I think had something to do with Tales from the Dark Side. So them, and which had a problem with that sound thing too. So there must have been some problems going on with that company, with not filling out contracts right. I'm guessing. I don't know. But I did see the sequels, that Rave to the Grave. I can't remember if there was 2 or 3 sequels. I didn't love them. I think what I would have done too is I would have tried to put some cameos in them from the other movies. And they also were just like typical zombie movies. They're really forgettable. I don't even remember what they're about. I remember something to do with one of them was that rave, and then one was like in an office building. They felt way more like Resident Evil. I mean, they're okay to watch. They're not. Don't go into them thinking they're anything amazing. Do you ever play any old video games from NES or N64? I haven't played a lot of games lately. I used to play some of the old Super Nintendo and Sega games, but most of those systems now are put away since we moved, because I used to have a secondary TV, like an old shitty TV, that I hooked that up just to play them, but I haven't really done a lot of that lately. I did that Back to the Future games looks interesting. I think it's computer now. I do at some point want to try that. What are your favorite Arthurs? Not Arthur. You know, not Arthur, the TV show on PBS, Arthurs. I'm saying that wrong. I don't know why I'm saying that wrong right now. But I don't really read many books. I'm more of a movie person. I've always really liked seeing things more. For some reason, I'm trying to read books. I can't concentrate on it. I've got one of those, I think I have ADD and all that, so I can't really sit in one place and read something. I'm all over the place. And yes, I'm a fat person who's all over the place and wired all the time. I don't know. I've always been that way. I feel like even more lately. Would you consider to be the best name in horror movies currently? Like right now, who's doing horror movies that I think is like who's doing the most work? I guess I would say somebody like Bill Moseley. And Bill Moseley, I think, out of everyone, the Sid Haig and Ken Free, who I both really like, I feel like Bill Moseley's doing the most movies lately. And I also think Danielle Harris in horror movies is doing really well lately. I guess for directors, I don't know I think probably Adam Green. Yeah, Adam Green, I would say, is really, really right now doing the bigger things, like he did Frozen, which was a really good horror movie. Hatchet 2, which I didn't love, but it was good. Hatchet 1, which I loved, though. And I think Joe Lynch, who's friends with him, is coming, starting to make a name for himself as well. So that's what I would say. I'm trying to think of who else right now in horror is really the name. I think with his Scream, I think Wes Craven is probably going to start to do more and more horror things, and hopefully they're more successful. The one thing about the Scream 4, which is kind of interesting, is I keep remembering too, when the third one came out, everyone kept going on and on about how it sucked. They didn't know why they made it. And that's why I kind of think it's funny how right now everybody's going crazy for part 4, when part 3 they wanted to go away so bad. So I kind of think it's kind of interesting. And then people are like, oh, I never want to see another one. Now they're all ranting and raving about it. That shows how people change their minds a lot. Who would win in a fight? Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, or Leatherface? Probably, I don't know. I think out of all of them, I like Leatherface a lot, like the best, I think. I thought Leatherface was really, really creepy. Especially because it was so, that character, and Michael Myers too, were the most practical that really could happen. Have you ever killed a man because he licked a small mouse? This is important. We may be in danger. No, I've never done that. Sean, we all know you're a movie buff, and you're into film industry. What other hobbies, interests do you have in life? It'll be a little interesting to know a little bit more about you aside from film. That's from Darkstone Entertainment, who's doing Plan 9, which I'll be working on in the coming months. But I think my main other interest has always been a movie buff, and mainly the main thing I do is always getting DVDs and always seeing the latest movies, and following on IMDb everything, like the message boards and all that stuff. I used to be more on the DVD sites, looking up coming releases and stuff. Now I just go on that site, the Digital Bits. But that's pretty much me, is all movies. I'm always thinking about, what the next project I'll be working on, or about the next movie coming out, or that's pretty much the main thing I'm always doing though, and it's always been like that. I haven't really done anything but that. Um, I do like to direct stuff too. I did like when I was making the short horror films and directing the Don and Murphs, because I was the one doing everything on those, and I really did like doing that and editing them. I did enjoy doing that, and hopefully soon I'll end up getting it together and make another um, horror film at some point. But I don't know. Like nowadays too. There's a lot of to make it worth watching. It's very difficult because now everybody is making horror movies, and there's so much competition. You kind of need to make it look as good as you can, and you need to really use better equipment and everything just to make it not look like shit. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, since you can look at just a simple YouTube video that's quality of a movie in the theaters. And the next question is, bro, love your vids. My question: how many DVDs do you own? Where do you work to get all the money for the movies? Well, pretty much all I've been doing as of right now, and what I'm planning to keep doing is forever. Like my main thing now is full force acting, which is really all I've been working on. That, and going to be pretty busy coming up, which is that's always exciting. Um, and that's pretty much the main thing. And some money from YouTube through doing just the partner program. And but for DVDs though, I don't know how many I have. I've never counted it. For some reason, I never really wanted to. But I know it's over 2,000. That's all I know. One day I will have to count it. And I did get rid of on the move some of like the old ones that I really didn't like, because there were some that I used to always say I didn't like this and stuff, so I sold them off. But pretty much now everything I've got, I don't plan on getting rid of them unless they're the DVD that I replace with a Blu-ray down the line. At what age was your first trip to the theater to see a movie? What was it, and do you remember it well enough to tell? Thanks. Keep up the great work and videos. I don't know what the first. I don't know for sure. I remember some early memories of seeing The Little Mermaid in theaters. I remember seeing that. One of the really early memories I have was seeing Ghostbusters 2. I think that was '89. I remember right before. I used to, as a kid, have this teddy bear, which I still have. I've kept it for years. If you've seen the Osbournes, it's kind of funny. Jack Osbourne had the exact same teddy bear because we were both the same age. So I guess he got it at the same time, so it looked exactly the same. But I remember leaving it at Roy Rogers, which I don't think there's many of them around anymore. But there was this little movie theater, which was one of those like movie theaters that only had one screen. And if you've seen Chris LaMartina's movie Dead Teenagers, he actually shot the film in that theater. So if you want to see the theater that I went to afterwards, you can in that movie. But I left the teddy bear in the movies, and then I had to come back to Roy Rogers, this huge ordeal as a kid. I used to also carry him around at the flea market. I used to always go to these flea markets. I miss doing that. They had these great toys then, I remember. But I remember leaving in there, and that was in 1989 for Ghostbusters 2. I also remember Dick Tracy. I remember I got sick and threw up all over the seat as a kid, and then left. I remember that. I think Ethan's, my brother's first movie he saw was The Lion King. I'm pretty sure. I can remember that pretty well. Yeah, I don't remember though what the exact first movie ever was. And next one is Sean. I'm watching a lot of gangster and police movies right now. Is there any good ones that you could recommend to me? I don't really watch a lot of those kind of films. Not really. I don't think I've really watched a lot of them. You're a cool guy. Which systems, i.e. Wii, Xbox, do you have, and which games do you like and why? How did you get so rich? What kind of work do your parents do? Do you think you're a kid? At Kidart? At heart? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't talk about that's some stuff I don't need everyone to know every little detail about my entire life. But so I don't want to talk about all that. But I do have PS3, but I really only use that for the Blu-ray player, because it's so. That was one. I remember when Blu-rays were first out. It was such a big ordeal. It was like they had that thing where you have to upgrade them, and a lot of the people best were like, oh, if you have this one, you're not going to be able to upgrade it. Those people are all going to be out of luck. I remember them giving this huge talk. That was when he encouraged me to get the HD player that fell through about a month later. He's like, oh no, get HD. HD's going to last. It's really easy. It's not going to need all this upgrading. Oof, that was a mess. But yeah, but I also have Wii, which I don't play a whole lot of games though. That's the one thing. Um, have you ever heard of a game called Earthbound on Super Nintendo? Um, if so, what'd you think of it? It's really fun. I do remember playing that as a kid. I think that was the one with that cover on the front, like on the front. It was like kids or something. I remember I got stuck in that game and really pissed off. There's a scene when they went on a boat, but I felt like the Pokemon. I remember in the 6th grade, my brother had that, so I used to always play that Pokemon thing. And I felt like it was the same platform to the Earthbound game. Hey Sean, do you happen to own Sorority House Massacre series? If not, I'd be glad to send you copies. And also, can I send my copy of Sasquatch to be personally signed by you? I wish you good and MJ good luck in your goal of becoming actors. If you send this cover, I mean just the cover, I can send that back. That's a lot easier than sending the disc and everything. But I don't have the Sorority House Massacre ones. I thought I did for years. I thought I had it. Then I looked through and I realized I don't have that. I have the other one. I have the Slumber Party Massacre films, but I don't have the Sorority House Massacre ones. But I would love to see those ones at some point. And yeah, we've been doing pretty well. Andre just did a movie called Homecoming. But thanks for the support and everything. Is there any other parts here? Just trying to make sure I answer these questions as thorough as possible and not miss any. So I'm trying not to miss any. Hey Sean, I'm not sure if you've seen the 90s Christmas movies, but if you have, can you tell me some of your favorite ones? I'm trying to think of what some 90s ones are. I remember there was that one with the front with Santa upside down. I don't know if that was 89 or before 90. Of course, there's Christmas Ernest one I never loved. For some reason, that was my least favorite of the Ernest films. I don't know why. I didn't like it as much as some of the other Ernest movies. I did like the Santa Claus. I can't remember right now other Christmas ones, though. Hey, Sean, have you ever heard about the movie New Kids Turbo? You can tell this right away to Dweebo, too. He would probably love the movie. Go see the trailer on YouTube. I've never heard of that one, no. And the next question is, who's your favorite Batman? And I've always said this, I really like Michael Keaton a lot. I don't know if that's just because I grew up watching that one, but I always loved him as Batman. I don't have anything against Christian Bale, though. I know MJ goes on and on, but he did fine. He really did do a good job. I just have always loved Michael Keaton. And I think that's just who I like Michael Keaton as an actor, too. Would you shamelessly plug Skidding Across America, the film you made a hilarious cameo with MJ? Joe Franz is available on Amazon. That would be awesome. Well, yes, Skidding Across America is available on Amazon.com now, and Joe Franz, and MJ are all in that together in a cameo. And I think there's a second one coming out for that soon too, which I didn't get to do because I was on the road with MJ at that point. Do you listen to metal or industrial? If so, what are some of your favorite bands? Not really, no. I don't really listen to any real extreme metal bands or anything. What did you think about Saw 3D? Do you think there will be a second one? Also, can you check out my channel, The Movie Dude 12? I did a review of Saw 3D. I thought it was better than some of the other ones. I did agree with that. I do think there's going to be some other form of Saw. I don't know if it's going to be a sequel or if it's going to end up being some kind of a prequel thing. It's going to be some kind of a spin-off copycat thing. I just find it very weird that they would not, just kind of be done with it. I feel like they may go direct to DVD though. Greetings from Mexico. What happened to Herb's Put a Fish on the channel? By the way, the new family vlogs are amazing. Congrats. Hopefully at some point my dad does more videos for his channel. I don't know. He just kind of, right when we started getting ready to move in April, when we started packing everything away, we were just so busy. I mean, I didn't even really talk about half of that situation. When we decided we were moving, I think in March, I remember was on set of Chris Seaver's movie Geek Wars. And I remember my mom was like, "We're gonna do it," because like I really wanted to. We all really wanted to. She's like, "You know what? We're doing it. We've had enough of this. The snow is a pain in the ass." And I remember, right when we got back in April, I left the movie theaters to start working on everything because, yeah, as you know, there's a lot of shit in our house. I think we threw away like it was either 2.5 full dumpsters to the very top of stuff thrown away. And I mean, every single day we were going to the Goodwill getting rid of things. So I mean, the amount of stuff that we got rid of, so it was a long process. So for months I was sitting in the basement with nothing. Every DVD was put away, and that was the same with my dad. Everything of his was put away, so I don't think he was inspired to do any of those videos because all those pictures were away in boxes, so he really couldn't do them. So hopefully at some point he comes back and starts to do them. Have you ever seen Escape from Alcatraz? If so, what did you think about it? If not, check that out. I have seen that movie. I like that one a lot. I always like those prison escape movies. And I like that lockup show. You know, I always think that's kind of freaky, like the people in the jail and stuff. I always think that's like, I don't know, I like those shows. But they never don't air them very much. Or it's always those old ones, and like some of the older ones were like filmed weird. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They weren't as cool as well put together. Do you collect any Criterion DVDs and Blu-rays? I don't get a whole lot of the Criterion ones. I always feel like they're so expensive. You know what I mean? Like really overpriced expensive. So I don't really have a whole ton of them. I have a couple DVDs though. What is the most graphic, disturbing film you've ever seen? Probably this one was Toe Tag Pictures movies. That and that Slaughter Vomit Dolls, which I didn't even review because it was really... the director sent them and I didn't know what they were. And I don't know. I didn't even review them. Do you... Some of that, because that kind of stuff, it's just not my style. Do you like to watch anything on the Food Network? Well, I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, you're fat." Of course you do. And yes, I do watch the Food Network. I like, well, I have a whole bunch of things I watch on there like that. Dinner Impossible, which I don't know if they're doing that anymore. Now he's doing Restaurant Impossible. And then, you know, Guy Fieri's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Of course, I watch that. I feel like at some point I should do a video trying to go to the restaurants with a family that are in San Diego that he went to. And I think that could be an interesting thing, like actually going to those restaurants and seeing if they're any good. That could be an interesting idea. What else do I watch on there? Like that Bobby Flay show is interesting. One thing I hate watching them talk about on those shows is desserts and sweet stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't know, every time they do that, I delete those episodes. I don't love them. I like Chopped. I like that because that show gets wrapped up in one episode, so you don't have to worry about watching all the other ones. But I also really been watching, you know, the Pawn Stars on History Channel, and I love that show. I love American Pickers. I love Storage Wars. Those are the ones I watch a whole lot of. What were your favorite bands growing up? I know I listened to Bobby Brown. I remember Michael Jackson. I remember as a kid dancing like a fiend to Michael Jackson stuff, especially in the Bobby Brown Ghostbusters. As a kid, I didn't really get a lot of like artists. I didn't get a lot of cassettes. There was cassettes then. I usually bought mostly soundtracks, and I've still been like that. A lot of people think that's weird, like, but I can listen to, like, you know, Danny Elfman's Beetlejuice soundtrack. I listen to all the time. Hook. You know, and I've always thought Rufio was a cool character, and I always am amazed how Rufio still looks like Rufio and hasn't aged and can still play Rufio, and I guess he really is one of the Lost Boys. But that's mainly what I listened to as a kid, was soundtracks and scores to movie. I remember walking around listening to the Hook soundtrack on the market going, Hook, Hook. I don't know. Sean, do you have a credit card or whatsoever? Oh, I do not have a credit card whatsoever. So how can I watch Riding Around the Country? Is it possible that you may upload it here on YouTube in the near future? I don't think I'm going to upload it on there because it's a little bit adult. And listen, basically too, it's like it was really made for, like, wasn't really made to put up on the internet. And it wasn't even to make money off of it. It was made to kind of be the end of the Around the Towns, like with like a big end for a long time, kind of like to sum up what the Around the Town was and everything. And just some of the content in it. You see MJ's arse by mistake. Yes, it was by mistake. And, you know, I don't want... People are going to think certain things in it you know, a couple things in it were not real, and you know, and MJ was so negative in it. So I don't want to stir the sheet up with it. It's kind of one of those things that the only way you can download it on Amazon though. I think for a dollar or two or something. Which is, I would say, if you don't want to have to pay much for it, that's what I would do. And I think that option's up there. I don't control a whole lot of its create space, so there's not a whole lot. You don't make anything like a disc. If it sells, you make like 40 cents. What was your favorite song from the band Korn? I saw a poster in one of your old videos. That all day I dream about sex. I always remember that one. What other ones were Korn? I don't remember. I haven't listened to them in so long. But that was the same time when I was listening to Limp Bizkit in middle school, and I was listening to. I remember me and a friend of mine. For some reason, we bought that Vanilla Ice CD when it was when he did the rock stuff. He's like, to go, ice, ice, baby, knock shit off of the rat, and it was all like crazy. I don't know why I bought that, and for some reason I thought it was really good. Will Joe Franz ever come back? I love that guy. I really don't know. I mean, I've called him. We'll see. How long is your hair right now? Do you really think Dweebo looks like Biebler? He has a similar look. He has, like, I think it's the eyebrows, the same thickness, and it's definitely a similarity. My hair is like this long. I have to keep it like the same amount for a while because I may have to shoot something else for a movie where it's a certain length, so I can't mess with it. You seem to have a nicer house now, and being that you're in California, how did your family afford living there? It's so expensive. Well, this time, you know, because of the economy, houses are not as much, and I don't want to get into all the details, but let's just say we owned our other house, and it was like the same price, so it was pretty much just a swap, pretty much for the most part. And I don't talk about what they do for a living. I can say my dad teaches though. That's pretty much all I can say in comic books and stuff like that. Hey Sean, just two questions for how's the new Night Owls that you've been filming coming along? Well, I only did one thing in that one scene when I was at the horror convention. Gabe was like, do you want to film this cameo thing? And I didn't even know what I was doing. It was just me and Brendan talking about this book. It was like, I don't know. I have no clue what's going on with that. Also, what's it like acting and filming with Brendan and Gabe? I really like to film both, and they're very nice guys. I love getting to hang out with Brendan. Like I said, we try and do that every month, you know, month or every other month or something like that. But usually every month, and shooting something. Right now, we're filming something for this vampire movie, which we didn't get to film everything for it because it was raining. So hopefully we'll get that done sometime this month. How would you feel if you became a big Hollywood star? I don't think I'd feel any different than I do now, because I would not love to be a huge Hollywood star, to tell you the truth, because I really like going around at Best Buy. I like going to stores and stuff. I wouldn't like it becoming a nightmare if it was like that kind of thing, like paparazzi thing. I would not be a huge fan of that. And I would kind of feel like my life was mildly over if it got to that point. That's why I'm not. Some people are in acting to be famous and all that stuff. I'm in it because this is what I love. I mean, love more than anything to do. I'm not in it for that reason at all. I'm in it just because this is the only thing I like to do. And that's like all that I have drive for. And that, and I guess buying DVDs. But there's, like, especially as of in the last, I'd say since probably I guess since the summer too, things was really working this summer. I really, you know, realized this is what I want to do, and you know, and I've known that for a while. That's why I've done so many different things. And I don't know, I'm not in it to become huge though. That's not, you know, I'm fat already, but I'm not in it to become a huge star. But if it happened, I guess it would be interesting. But I would be one of those Hollywood stars that I don't know, I would find ways to hide and have disguises so I could still do the things that I liked. Like if it ever got to the point that I couldn't go to Comic-Con, like I know Kevin Smith has a hell of a time going to Comic-Con and like conventions, that would suck. Like even now, surprisingly, every 10 seconds, I'm not kidding, at Comic-Con, I see a fan or something. And I think that's really cool. But Kevin Smith, if you watch some of those people, they can't even move in that place. Also, with Joe Fran's return, a lot of people are asking this. I loved the Around the Town a while back when he had to drink the hot sauce. I hope he ends up coming back. We didn't talk about this, but after he drank that hot sauce, that was an interesting night. He was in the bathroom for like every 10 seconds shitting. Yeah, that was not a good thing, him drinking that hot sauce. Um, what's the most scariest film you've seen or has been stuck in your mind for a long time? I think I talked about that earlier, but I think Session 9 was really creepy. I don't remember anything really creepy that I've seen lately. Sometimes when I watch those ghost hunter shows, even though they're fake, just the power of suggestion can creep me out, so I don't like watching them. I was curious how come you don't seem to take security tape, white tape off the top of your DVDs, off the boxes after you've opened up the case? I've seen a ton of your cases which still have those on, and it always made me wonder. I'm pretty anal about it. Whatever. I buy a DVD, I always tear the top off, any wrapping away. The main reason for that is, here's the main reason. I used to have those I don't know where they went. I had a whole box of them. Those things where you open up them with DVDs and you just go like across, and so it leaves the thing on there. So that's why I kept them on there. But when we were moving in and putting the DVDs away, MJ was peeling them off. He's like, I don't like these on here either. So he took them off, most of them. But I don't really care. It doesn't bother me if those things are on there that much. I mean, I usually take them off, though. Will you direct or produce your own films? And if so, when? I mean, at some point, I've done these shorts and stuff before. At some point, I will. There's one that I'm trying to turn the Lust for Blood thing into a longer film. It's gonna be like 45 minutes, and then tie it into the movie MJ did, Homecoming, because those movies, and we're gonna shoot on the Red camera. It's a lot of things to get together to do that, and I just have to figure out when I can do it, because I have so many things up in the air about dates or scheduling, so it's kind of hard to know when I can do it, then it won't conflict with something else. Hey Sean, your videos rule and I enjoy them a lot. A couple of questions. Since you act in a show on Showtime, are there any other Showtime shows you watch or like to act on? I watched Dexter, but then I kind of lost interest in that. I don't know what else. I don't think I watched anything else. Well, I liked Penn and Teller Bullshit. That was one I really liked, but there wasn't really anything to do on that, acting-wise. And I did shoot that, I was lucky enough to get onto Look because I'm friends with Adam Rifkin. That was a huge, I don't know how else I would ever have known to get onto, to jump into something that big. But I would love to do more TV stuff. That would be really cool to do that and to try and do like a small thing on a sitcom or something. That would be really a different thing, kind of experience to do. What are your opinions on the Mel Gibson cell phone controversy, and will the controversy affect his new film, The Beaver, which looks amazing? I think Jodie Foster directed that, which is pretty cool. I don't even remember exactly what he said on that. There seems to be always a situation with him, called never-ending problems with Melvin Gibson. So I didn't really follow that. Are you a fan of Harmony Korine's work, Gummo, Trash Humpers? I haven't. The only one I've seen is Gummo, which I really liked a lot. Hi, how are you? Well, I'm alright. I'm Martin. So how many years has it been since the economy has been bad, and why? Also, when do you think the economy is going to get better? I don't know. I think it's been a couple of years now. I hope it gets better. I think people have to buy stuff to get it better, I think that's what Gene Simmons said. Have you seen the Matrix film series at all? If so, what do you think of it and why? I remember I never really loved the Matrix movies. There's nothing wrong with them, but I never really got into them. Did you ever see the Fast and Furious starring Vin Diesel and Paul Walker? I've never watched them. The trailer for the new one looked okay. I don't know, for some reason I was never interested in watching that. I remember it came out when I was in driving school, and then everyone was like, oh, we gotta see this, and the driving teacher's like, don't speed. That movie gives you bad lessons about speeding. And I don't know, ever since that too, it kind of ruined the experience. What do you think of the Karate Kid remake, if you've seen it? I thought it was okay, but it's kind of one of those ones I saw it and I'll never watch it again. What do you think video games and other things will be like in the future, like say 25 to 50 years from now? Well, since everything's going 3D, I think it's going to end up being the games are going to be 3D, and they may end up doing that kind of thing where you can really be in the game. You know, that like they tried to do it years ago, that virtual reality thing that flopped bad. The thing when you wear that helmet, you're like, ooh, and all that, which didn't do shit. But I remember like playing that. It was like $6 to put that thing on at the mall or something. Didn't do it. It was a piece of junk. But I think in the future, games are going to be like that. You'll be like, whoa! You'll be able to walk around it and do all that stuff. Kind of like Bud Bundy's fantasy sequence in Married Children. What is the most trippiest, most bizarre film you've seen? I don't know for that one. That's when I really got to sit here like with a blank stare and think for a long time. 80s synth band, my favorite 80s synth band. I really like Tangerine Dream. I'm glad to see they're still doing music. What was your favorite early 90s cartoon show on Nickelodeon? I really liked Doug a lot, and I really liked Ren and Stimpy. Ones I really watched a whole lot. Sean, I have two questions. Do you get into comics much? If so, have you ever heard of Hack Slash? What's the best bad movie in your opinion? I've never heard. I've heard of that because they're making the movie that, but I didn't. Don't know anything about it. Favorite bad movie? I guess Troll 2, as everyone always says, is a bad one. I don't know which other ones I would say. I guess like Woodshire Massacre, people always say, and that's one I really like. I don't know any other ones at the moment. Next question is, want to collaborate on a song? I'd love to do something like that. What one movie do you think everyone should watch at least once in their life? Like if you haven't seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, it's a really fun movie. That would definitely be one. And like for zombie movies, if you haven't seen Return of the Living Dead, that's a must-see. How did you and MJ budget your trip from Maryland to San Diego? My friends and I want to take a road trip, but we suck at budgeting money. I know we had a $500 card, because I didn't have a lot of money to do that, and I had to get out here. We had a $500 card for gas. And I think I used like $350 on just gas. And then I think we had hotel money. How much did I spend on hotels? I think was another $500 maybe? Because I tried to find the cheaper ones. It was a pain in the ass. We didn't even get into half of that in the Around the Country movie. At some point, we could do a video explaining the Around the Country movie, a bunch of the situations we didn't show. Whenever I see MJ again, I'm trying to do a phone video with him now. I'll see if I can get that figured out. But I would say, I think it's going to be at least $1,000 or so for rooms and gas total. And if you all split it up, and I mean for total for both of you, for that, and as long as you're on the same car and everything. And then food, you can just do the dollar menu things and eat at diners and things like that. And I guess that's all the questions for this part. This is going to be about 40 minutes. Anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be on with part 3 soon.